All rise and welcome to this sports court of public opinion we call Foul Play by Play, providing play by play commentary on the week's cheats, cheap shots, and alleged criminals in sports. I'm your host, Anthony Variano, and I'm joined by Michael Haas, Esquire, our attorney on retainer, and Bradley Haas, our everyman. What you got planned for the big game day, Brad?
I just got some food going, a fridge full of beer.
Can't beat
Uh,
that. I got chili on.
19 bets. Um, yeah,
19, huh? Atta
I'm re-
boy, getting after it. How much money?
we can't speak that.
Cannot utter it out into the world because then it won't come true.
Just let's say on average $20 per.
Right. Okay, so that's your unit, a 20.
Yeah,
You play the sports betting like you do the Keno machines, my friend.
I don't bet max though.
Mike, you gonna head over to your bros for some free food and beers?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I
Not
mean,
really
you're only a
feeling
block
this.
away.
Not really feeling the Super Bowl this year.
I'm not feeling it that much either. You're not supposed to say those words either. The super bowl or the super bowel. Yeah. So it's big game day or something like that.
Oh, football. Can I say
Sorry, NFL.
football? Or
Yeah,
do they own that too?
probably. Like we're gonna be somebody's gonna send us a cease and desist letter eventually. So it's just
Get
so
out of the way.
expect. If y'all aren't familiar with this show we do, it's called Foul Play by Play. It's part of the Foul Play by Play family, which you can find on foulplaybyplay.com. You can follow us on YouTube at Minnesota Foul Play by Play, on TikTok, also at Minnesota Foul Play by Play. And you can find us on Substack at gogonzojournal.substack.com. We usually start this game or this show with a little game we like to call opening arguments, where we let these two brothers argue with each other and see where it goes from there. So it's Mike won the last one, which means Brad gets to pick first. And the first item on the docket that I am going to do is Emmanuel Acho versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Which way do you want to? Who do you want to argue for, Brad?
Let's go Emmanuel, please.
Okay. So on February 3rd, a three-judge panel on the Pennsylvania Commonwealth Court affirmed a workers' comp award to Emmanuel Acho, who played for the Eagles from 2013 to 2015 when a thumb injury ended his career. With a little more background information, Acho injured his thumb while practicing for the Eagles on August 11, 2015, but didn't keep him out of a preseason game against the Ravens 11 days later. He fractured the same thumb during a subsequent practice and needed surgery. He was released and received 3 weeks of pay per an injury settlement. The team re signed Acho that November, but his thumb remained symptomatic. And a couple weeks later, Acho was cut again. He auditioned for NFL teams, but Judge Patricia McCullough, on behalf of the Pennsylvania Commonwealth Court, said he could not play at his pre injury level, and no team offered him a contract. So he was awarded his workman's comp claim, and we're arguing whether or not that claim should have been fulfilled. So since Brad has chosen Emmanuel Acho, that means, Mike, you have to defend the Philadelphia Eagles, correct?
They might win a big game today too.
They could win a big game today. That's who I've got my money on, at least. Brad, who did you bet on?
Kansas City, man.
Oh, shoot.
How the
I
refs will probably make that
50%.
happen for you.
Yeah, I probably will. All right, Mike, continue with your argument on behalf of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, actually, he's suing me, so he goes first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bradley.
Well, number one, he gets injured again, goes and gets surgery, gets released. Basically, in the state of Pennsylvania, you're firing him. He should be owed workman's comp, a certain percentage of what his salary was, which for that guy being a 6th round pick, it's nothing. So yeah, they need to give him his money. It's just like if you get fired from any other place, especially injury related. Number one, you're going to get workman's comp. You
Yeah.
should get. I mean, bottom line, it's pennies to these clubs, and that's we're going to get into it in our next argument, which I find it funny that they will not pay this shit out, but they'll tell you that they've got so many billions of dollars in these pools, but they only pay out 3% of it. Like,
Yeah.
who's getting the other 97%? Give the man his couple $100,000. You waste more fucking money in legal fees. I mean, for Christ's sake.
And just think about all the money that they're raking in today, the biggest
Like,
day in
exactly.
the NFL's, revenue history. So, I mean, every big game day is basically the biggest day in the NFL's revenue
And
history.
and not to he's entitled to it. Not to say that this guy needs it because he's not one of my favorite sportscasters, but he seems to be doing well and he's very well liked. I believe he was nominated for a Golden Globe or an Emmy or whatever,
Yeah, Emmy, I
which one
think.
he did. But yeah, pay the man his couple $100,000. Call it good.
Mike, your rebuttal?
Yeah, well, Tony, in my arguments, I'm going to pretend to be a Republican for the next couple minutes and be
This should be fun.
the average man. I was just at a retirement party surrounded by Republicans, and we're talking about the NFL, and me like them, these players make so much money. I mean, that's what's ruining the game. Um, but you already laid out the timeline of what happened. Okay, so he injured his thumb, gets brought back by the team. I think he played, then his thumb gets re-injured. He needs surgery. Then they release him, which is different than firing him. There's going to be a ton of Minnesota Vikings that get released over the next couple days. Um, so I think it is different than getting fired, being released, and the fact that
Why is it different? Is it because they can release you without cause, and firing they have to have cause? Is that the difference?
I believe so. Yes. I mean, look at Adam Thielen. I would assume gets released. I don't think
Right.
he's going to restructure his contract. Um, but he had the opportunity. Tried to come back to the league. Nobody wanted him. That's no fault of the Eagles. Maybe he should have tried a little harder. And to say that he's out anything um, is laughable. He doesn't need the money. He's been on The Bachelor, apparently, as Brad just mentioned. He's a lead NFL analyst on Fox Sports, runs a nonprofit. He's got a book out. He's not one of these NFL players that actually needs the money. Um, and as reference to the big pool of money that the NFL does hold to pay out players who are injured, thank God the NFL, unlike America, the government, doesn't just throw around its money willy nilly so it can actually survive. If the U.S. would take after the NFL a little more, maybe we wouldn't be in this inflation problem we have right now.
Oh, well,
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Brad, you got anything to say in
All I
response to
gotta
that?
say for a rebuttal, he did what a worker should do. He went and tried to find employment, didn't just sit on his ass. He looked at multiple teams, didn't get it, so he went back to the state that he was employed in and filed for unemployment until his next gig. Just because you have money doesn't mean that you're not entitled to what shit is owed.
That is
Are we
correct.
are we
That
putting
is
a are we
that is
putting a
an
fucking
irrelevant argument.
so are we putting a fucking cap on what you can make now? And then after that, you just donate your checks back to the
Some of us
corporation?
think we should, yeah.
I'm done on that one.
Okay. Well,
I
I'm gonna
witnessed.
throw up. I'm gonna throw up. Oh God, I can't even say the word they said. I made myself sick.
Well, it's okay because your argument wasn't good enough to beat Bradley's. I'm going to rule in favor of Emmanuel Acho, even though I don't like the character, but it doesn't make any difference. Apparently, according to the laws of Philadelphia, he earned his workman's comp. I find it hard to believe, though, that a injury is the reason why he couldn't, come back. Like, we've seen guys play without thumbs, have we not? Like, with just casts on their hand that they used as foreign objects, weapons. And that's the most shocking thing to me. But it doesn't change anything about my ruling.
Which which to that it just shows how amazing some of these athletes are, though. And I'm not saying
Oh
he's
yeah,
not one of them. I would think your thumb would be very important for tackling people, I mean, grabbing
yeah.
on and pulling people down. But
But I mean, who is it? Jason Pierre-Paul blew off 3 of his fingers and managed to come back and play football pretty regularly. But this is a 6th-round pick, so
yeah,
he was on the fringes from the start. I think so. Okay, well, let's stick with the theme. Let's go retired NFL players versus the NFL. Next on the docket, a group of former National Football League players is suing the organization, alleging that it has a pattern of denying disability benefits for those with both physical injuries and mental impairments, despite evidence from medical and team records. Let's see, Michael, you get to choose who you'd like to defend.
oh, I'm in a giving mood, and since I've already got my Republican hat on, I'll be Roger Goodell at the
Wow.
NFL.
Wow. Okay, Bradley, you get to go first.
Number one, I just want to say that I'd like to see a former MSU Bobcat in this thing, Joey Thomas. I'm assuming that's the Joey Thomas, and we're not talking about Joe Thomas. Am I
Yeah,
correct?
no, it's not Joe
Okay.
Thomas. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Number one, I mean, and this is where I got the information from, where they have, oh, it's in the 8 billion, 9 billion range of money in this pool, and they only pay out like 2 million of it to these players. They put their life on the line for you.
As we've seen
Literally.
most recently
Like,
with Damar Hamlin needing to be revived via CPR on the field.
so this money that is in these pools shouldn't be for anybody to get paid off. It's to pay for the mental health, for everything for these players that make you the billions of dollars as the NFL. It's horrendous. So, and to see that, oh, so this doctor that's an NFL doctor is making this thing. If he makes all the good things for the teams and says the right things that he should, he gets paid X amount of dollars. If he does what his fucking job is supposed to be, we're knocking you down tier by tier by tier. At what point is the NFL going to stop acting like our government and actually take care of its fucking players slash citizens? Help these guys out. Take it over, Republican Mike.
Republican Mike is a great character.
No, this okay. No, this story, it reminds me of God, one of my favorite sports movies, Any Given Sunday. I love the team doctor in that one.
Right. Yeah.
Even though that really doesn't have anything to do with paying benefits after they already get injured. But how do I gotta okay, think like a Republican, think like a
Get
Republican.
back in the mindset.
The worker, okay, the
Bradley's making
worker's the
sure his
enemy. The
food
worker's
isn't
the enemy.
burning.
I got it. Okay. To quote one of my idols, Roger Goodell, I mean, we've got a system. Okay, first of all, so this isn't a quote. This is Republican Mike. We have a system set up for these types of payments has that was helped created by the players' union and the league. So this is something the union bargained for. That being said, not everybody's obviously going to benefit from it, and we don't want it to. You only want people who really qualify for these, I
As you
guess,
would for
payments.
any health insurance claim, right?
So we're obviously going to believe anybody that comes out into the media and says, "Oh, I didn't get it and I should have qualified for it." Well, let's let the doctors and the board, this board that was approved by the players union, to make those decisions, as because we can't, if we give it to everybody, then it's actually going to take away money from people who qualified for it and really need it.
Oh, but
Like
they're
in my
going to
first
knock you right.
argument,
Please let him finish his argument. You'll have a chance to rebuttal, Brad.
we want to pretend like there's just, we keep throwing out these words like billions. There's not this endless sea of money. We've got to make hard
Really?
choices to
There isn't
pay
a
the
money tree?
players that need it.
The NFL doesn't have a
Because
money
if
tree?
we don't, we are gonna, jeez, you might as well move to Cuba.
Hey, the XFL starts on the 18th, baby.
Oh my god. Another thing you need to lose money on is XFL games. Your
So,
rebuttal, Bradley.
so they're talking about the one doctor that was uh, doing Willis McGahee. And they
Mhm.
said that no, he had no mental problems, no CTE stuff because he was a black man. So his IQ is going to be lower because he's black. I mean, like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you're going to say because he got hit in the head playing this sport that it didn't do it? It's because he's an uneducated black man? Like, get the fuck out of town, NFL. Pay these fuckers. Done.
Oh God, it is really tough being Roger Goodell because I don't know how to see
He does have a very
without.
stressful
I
job.
just don't. Oh my God, how the NFL and a lot of its fans just can't. My own brain is triggering. Like where it's just like I'm going to say something. It's like this is something a fucking racist would say. Stop it! Stop it!
Stop it! Stop it! Yeah, yeah, it's hard. Like I have almost no interest in this game today whatsoever, except for the 3 bets I made that are $20 total, whereas Brad's got 19 of them at $20 a piece. And I can't bring myself to love the sport like I used to because of all of this garbage that it just spews out and still manages to attract such amazing revenue. It's insane. Um, but if there's no further argument, I'm going to rule in favor of the retired NFL players. It seems like a pretty easy decision, especially given the fact that it sure seems like the doctors, who, as Mike rightly said, were approved by the players union. But I mean, those if their pay is determined based on their decisions they're making regarding the physical health and mental health of the former players and disabled players, boy, that's really problematic. And I think we need to go back to the drawing board and rethink this entire
would
system.
you would you not, just as a humanitarian, would you not agree that, okay, so hey doctor, if you say that this person has a problem, instead of giving you your paycheck for making the right thing, we'll pay these guys out, but you're going to get paid less? Like, it's fucking ludicrous.
Well,
I
it
mean,
seems like a means to I mean, it is a means. It is certainly a
God.
means for the NFL to limit the amount of money it has to pay out to disabled and retired NFL veterans. Anywho, so the NFL is dirty. Happy big game Sunday. Woo! Yay! All right.
God
Now we
bless Roger Goodell.
somehow we get to talk about Duke getting screwed out of another win by officiating. We talked about it on Minnesota Foul Play-by-Play, an episode recently where men's basketball was used in the first half of a game. And it's just like, well, how the hell does this happen? Well, in this instance, Duke University men's basketball team was playing Virginia. Game an incorrect call was made on the final play of regulation, despite it being reviewed. Shocking. I mean, how do you screw it up twice? They screwed it up twice. So we've got Duke, I guess, suing the officiating crew for a win that they might have had. I mean, would have been a foul resulting in 2 free throws for a guy who was over 2 from the line in the game, but shoots 75%. So, I mean, instead of those 2 free throws happening, it went into overtime and Duke ended up losing the game. So let's see. Bradley, you're 2 for 2. Michael, you get to pick who you want to represent.
I'm gonna take the officials.
Oh boy, he's doing what Brad did in the last show: is take all the difficult arguments. That's what we like to see the attorney do.
I smell a sweep.
Yeah, well. Give it your best shot, Bradley. You're up first.
Number one, the officials, the official in the corner made the right call. Obviously, made the
Live.
right
It was the right call made
during
live.
the game.
Okay.
Do I blame them going over to the monitor to check it out? Hell no. That's what you should do if we do have replay.
Final minutes of the game.
Okay, number one thing that they're looking for to see if the ball had actually left his hand before time expired. Yes, it did. There is the continuation until the ball has no chance of going into the hoop that you can still commit a foul afterwards.
After the buzzer, even.
Yes, so technically the foul did occur when the clock hit zero.
After time had expired.
Yes. It's I this is where I'm getting into this shit, and I should quit betting on fucking sports, but I think it's fucking rigged. It's got to be fucking rigged.
You are reading way too many conspiracy theories, my friend. Too
This
many
is
bad
bullshit.
beats. Following
It's
too many bad beats on Instagram and
No,
TikTok.
I'm telling you. Who's to say that these mother and fucking officials don't have a cousin of a cousin of a cousin of a cousin that's putting their paycheck on this game? There's no way. How do you make that call? It's a blatant fucking call. We're not talking about following the rules, possibly using the right fucking ball or this or that. You looked at the video, the ball left his hand, there was a foul called on the court. How do you fucking overturn it? I can see if they didn't call the foul on the court. I'm not opposed to that. We see that shit happen all the time.
Right.
Kind of play stands, because there's not enough video evidence. The foul was called during the play and it was overturned. Tell me there's not some fucking conspiracy bullshit going on in that.
Well, I think Mike is going to try to.
Good luck. The proof is right there.
Good luck, he says.
And I fucking lost the bet because of it.
Of course you
I picked him
did.
on the money line.
Michael?
I can't believe that my fucking TV doesn't have a goddamn hole in it right now. I was watching that game live, and I blew a fucking gasket. Like, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? God fucking, if there is a God, he hates me. I should have won. Whatever. Fucking fuck.
This is the best
No, if I get fucked over today on the coin toss and the fucking kickoff.
You're betting the coin toss? Really?
Fucking tails, baby. Tails.
I hope something happens, like where it hits somebody's foot.
I hope it stands
like, nope,
straight up
it
and down. It lands on the ground and stays straight up and down, and we never figure out who gets the ball first.
And the opening kickoff has to be returned. Okay, let's get back to Duke.
Oh, okay. Michael, your rebuttal.
I think somewhere in his argument or his rant, whatever you want to call it, he did state what I think is true. I fucking hate it in tied games where the fucking game ends on a foul. My thing is let him play it out. Let him play a little rougher during the last 5 seconds in a tied game. That being said, okay, they made the call on the court. They go to review it. The three of us are sitting here with this rule after the fact. They're in real time. I'm going to tell you, I would assume officials are a little smarter than. I'm not going to. Nope, I'm a Republican. I'm not going to bash cops.
You know the fucking
but I'm saying they don't have the goddamn rule book memorized. Wow. So essentially, I doubt they were even looking at the replay with this rule in mind, which is from Rule 5, Section 7, Article 3C of the rule book. So yeah, it's easy for us to say after the fact they got it wrong when I have a feeling they didn't even fucking remember this rule or were aware of it in real time. That being said, they pulled the foul back. There's no guarantee this Flipowowski was going to make the fucking free throw. It was scoreless the whole game. He already missed 2 free throws. And if you wanted to win the game, it's fucking tied in overtime. Go out and win the game.
My rebuttal starts with Mike. You consider yourself an attorney, right?
It's not considered. He's past the bar. He is.
So, who's the number one people that you possibly hate the most?
People who enforce rules, I'll call them, because I still got my Republican cap on. I can't talk shit about the cops.
I will say it for you. You fucking hate police officers.
You cannot confirm nor deny that statement.
You expect them to know the fucking law of the land.
Well,
before they go out.
They have a 2-year degree. They have an understanding of the law that's maybe a third.
They do not have a 2-year degree, Tony.
So, with that being said, they're putting people in prison because they don't know the book. But because you do your job when you're not getting paid to be a Republican, from Anthony Variano on this podcast, You tell them you
We
need
make
to
no
know your
money, by the way.
but that's my thing, and that's the only thing. Like, it's good for you, Mike. You're trying to do this. It's a tough thing to do to make this argument. You should know the fucking rules. Number one. I mean, bottom line, you're an official. So then, with that being said, should there be repercussions for that officiating crew? If you don't know the fucking rules, what are you doing on a court? I mean,
Oh,
especially
they're
in this
doing the
day and
best they can. They're doing the best they can.
Yeah, they are. It's a tough gig, man.
Zebra lives matter too.
Bas- Basketball is one of the hardest. I mean, outside of hockey, I think basketball is the hardest sport to officiate, just because of the speed of the game. You're running up and down the court. It's physical. It's rough.
they but Anthony, at that point in the game, they weren't running up and down the court. They were looking at a fucking TV
Yeah, they
monitor.
just run up and
Like,
down the court the entire game. I mean, that's the thing. They've never been more tired than they will be in overtime, right?
Okay,
So, like,
actually, my final spiel. What the fuck? What is Duke doing? Why giving the ball to somebody who hasn't fucking scored the whole game?
because he's their
well, he
Why
best.
is
got a
that your
shot right
final
at the
fucking
rim.
play?
I mean, he probably should have dunked it. Like,
Like,
If he would have got fouled,
anywho, as an official, I'm ruling in favor of the officials. I understand how hard their
what?
job is. How are you mad? You're still gonna win.
It's the
uh,
fuck-
you know what? It's a big rule book. There's a lot of things to remember. You know, I've done games and I've forgotten about the infield fly rule. Oh, and shit, I forgot there was even somebody on second base. What the hell? How did he get there? I don't know, but he's there now. And you know, there was one time the bases were loaded and somebody threw the ball home and catcher caught the ball,
actually,
and I waited for a tag. I was like, oh shit, the
Tony,
bases are loaded.
you do bring up the best rule in baseball that fucking nobody understands.
Yeah,
I mean, that is the worst situation to be in officiating a game where you've got fucking 50 fans yelling at you over a rule that nobody fucking knows.
right. Yeah. And then it's also a judgment call, right? What is the infield? Is it
Exactly.
a ball
Where
that
does
can
it
be
start?
played
Where
by
does
an
it end?
infielder, or is it the dirt?
This judgment call was made. It was a foul, and then you
I'm
review
not
it.
disagreeing with the fact that it wasn't a foul, and I think there was continuation, but I don't think Duke has a court case in like petitioning for a win because one, they lost the game in overtime. Two, they probably weren't even the better team in the game in regulation. And three, they made the right call. The review was made, and they managed to screw up the review, which happens all the time. All the time. Like, it's happened to the Los Angeles Lakers this season like 3 times. They've lost 3 games, and like they could be the 4 seed if it not for officiating. But yeah, it's just the officials have enough going on, and you know what? It's just I can understand being mad about using the wrong basketball in a women's basketball game, but when it comes down to a judgment call, you know, especially in a game, it seemed like those situations, like Mike said, it's not one that those calls are typically made. So it's actually surprising to me that a call was made on the floor of a foul in the final seconds.
The correct
Um,
call.
it might have been. It's again, these are all judgment calls, and just because the officials didn't know the continuation rule, now they do. I mean, and I think you're right. They should be, fined or
They
at
should
least
be fired.
lose some of their pay, or have to go to an education program to remind them the fucking rules of the game. But I
Or give
mean,
him my $33 back.
giving Duke the win is not something that we could do because, like, the guy missed both free throws, and there's no
Okay, fine.
certainty that they win the game. But you win 2-1, Bradley. So it's
Thank you.
now 1-1 in this season of opening arguments.
So I got some quick stuff to talk about. You
Oh,
guys,
really?
are you all into golf?
A little. I
How
like
much time do
playing
we
it
got? How much time do we got left?
more than 10.
Okay. Um, this has been on my bucket list now for exactly 1 year. The Waste Management Tour in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like, this tournament makes golf fun. To be sitting at the 16th, just fucking hammered, throwing beers onto the green, and it's like cool. Like,
It's
I mean,
like The
I've got
Happy
it on
Gilmore tour event, is it not?
Yes, it is. And like I watched it live last year, the guy that hit the hole in one, and like still to this day it gives me chills. They'd be like, it's just a party scene, man. And you're talking
It
shit.
does
I
sound
mean,
like fun.
Ricky Fowler, the whole crowd was calling him small dick Rick yesterday. And you
10
could
minute
hear it
warning.
on TV. Like
It's like a pro wrestling event. God damn, that is a great chant.
It was
they
like
said
watching a baseball game in Chicago, South Side.
no, so just around the 16th hole, and they break it down, and it's like 128 yards. 20 some thousand people are around that thing. They're saying that it's like what 500,000, 700,000 people go through the
The gate?
gates for the
Jesus.
4 days.
Wow.
I mean, and what better time than the Super Bowl a few miles away in Phoenix? Like
Mm.
I'm saying, guys, like
Yeah, that those words we're not supposed to say. Sorry,
I was talking
NFL.
about I was
Please
talking
don't
about
sue us.
smoking.
We have no money.
I was talking about smoking.
A Super Bowl? Smoking a
Yeah,
Super Bowl?
yeah, yeah, because it's legal now in Montana.
That's right.
No, but like I think honestly, like I think that would be fun because you, Anthony, I know you're trying to work on your stuff. You could be as fucking belligerent as you want to here. You might get punched in the nose, but you're not going to get kicked out. Like it's like they expect you to do this stuff. Like it,
So wait, you think we should all go out there, get smashed, and do shows?
I would love to do a show
I'm down.
like that. Would be funner than shit.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it
I
would be
mean,
a
we
good
got to
time.
get there though. Like these fucking clowns are there like at 1:30 in the morning, and it's a dead fucking sprint to get there because it's all general admission shit. Like
Oh
it's
yeah, it's standing room only.
Oh
yeah,
God, does John Daly still golf?
yeah.
Hell
He
yeah, I'll
probably
go
does
then.
like the longest drive stuff on the before the tournament starts.
Speaking of
I'll
him, have
fucking
you guys
smoke
watched that?
cigarettes with him.
Have you watched his 30 for 30 or whatever it
Oh
is
yeah,
on
of
ESPN?
course.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Like,
wild
but
wildlife you led
no, and
has led.
this shows you like I think why you need to be educated when you come into these sports and get this type of fucking money. Because he just pissing it away on gambling and freaking booze and drugs. Like,
Yeah.
and he won one fucking tournament, for a while, and like had all this fucking money coming in. Like, other than that, golf's boring to me without Tiger Woods. But this shit, oh man,
It seems like it'd be a fun live event. They've been talking about it on the Levitard show for a long time as an event they want to go to. But we've only got 7 minutes left, so we're going to get to the sports law news of the week. Well, it hasn't happened yet, but it's going to happen this week, it sounds like. Diamond Sports Group, i.e., Bally Sports, is going to file for bankruptcy this week. And we're going to talk about what that means for the teams that are represented or broadcasted by Bally Sports, the regional sports networks, and the subscribers. Like me, I'm one of them. So MLB announced interest in taking over Diamond RSNs, that's regional sports networks, to make sure games continue to be broadcasted. But what about the NBA and NHL, which is going on right now? So, Mike, can you kind of give us a breakdown of what this bankruptcy means? I know it's just a means for them to protect their assets, and so they don't have to, pay the $140 million they owe starting.
Well, no, and from my understanding, like this year, um, Bally Sports are like when I watch a fucking Twins game and you got Glenn Perkins, blah blah blah. It's still going to be that for this year while bankruptcy plays out.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still going to be covering the games, broadcasting the games, but this will be likely the last year for a sports fan like you who lives in blackout areas. I think it's going to be great because I think it's going to finally push the MLB to do kind of like what soccer did and make essentially streaming services, kind of like MLB TV.
Well,
That
which they were
not to
they pioneered that. They were the first streaming service
Exactly.
in professional sports.
not
So-
to cut you off, Mike, but it'd be like ESPN. What ESPN Plus did with hockey is
Yeah.
unfucking believable.
Fantastic. Yeah.
I hate to have a monopoly on it like that with one company, especially a huge corporation like
Oh.
ESPN taking all the money. But for fucking $6, the amount of bullshit you get on that network is
No, I
fucking
don't think.
Oh, I'd
eh,
be watching so much tennis this year. Western and Southern Open, fucking Miami, the Austin Open, Indian Wells, all of that. It's you get like every court that's available on those complexes, up to like dozens of courts, and you just flip between whatever you want to watch. Ladies doubles, girls doubles. They've got the junior competition as
no,
well.
so and that's what's nice about it. And ESPN doesn't raise their prices yet. Like,
They're
and
going
maybe
to because
which
they might spin off Hulu because they've lost everybody's losing subscribers all of a sudden. But might continue with some details about the bankruptcy.
Well, so this year it should run for the fans. It'll feel like this didn't happen. I'm saying next year, though, I think it's gonna. From what MLB is saying, I mean, they've already got a platform that runs very
Yep.
well. Eh, It's going to be more expensive than like MLS or anything, I would assume.
Which is exactly why I locked in for an entire year yesterday.
Yeah, but it's going to be more beneficial because I remember when I had MLB TV when I lived out in Minnesota. It's like, well, I got this to watch the fucking Twins. And I can't
It's
watch
useless,
the Twins,
absolutely
so
useless.
it's
Yeah.
useless. So I'm hoping, and it sounds like if MLB takes it over, you're going to get rid of blackout games because they realize, I think they realize that you just need more people watching the game regardless.
Right. Well, this
Doesn't matter if they're in the
bankruptcy.
ballpark or not. It's
Right.
the state of Minnesota needs to be watching its Twins.
This
Like that's
bankruptcy is a direct result of a lack of viewers for baseball, not the NBA or the NHL. Am I right?
say that again.
This bankruptcy, Bally Sports' failure, is a result of the lack of people watching baseball games because that's the bulk of the broadcasts. It's
Well,
yeah,
162
no,
games
I
compared
don't.
to
You can't.
82 at the most for
I don't think
basketball.
you blame this. You don't. I don't think you can entirely blame this on the viewer because
Well,
it's
no, I'm not blaming it on the
we're
viewer. I'm just
cutting.
saying MLB doesn't have viewers, have very many viewers.
But they also under this situation with like Bally Sports, most people are moving away from corded cable.
Yeah.
So my thing is, if Bally's tied to that, so I mean, it's tied to a cable package, and if you're moving away where you're streaming all your entertainment, it's they need to make it easier for people to watch their
Well,
sports
they
teams
have
as
Bally
opposed
Sports
to
streaming now. You can get the app, but that's what I have. You know, it's I did the math. It's about $1 a game if you consider all of the baseball games and WNBA games I watch. So it's 189 for the year, which is dirt cheap, just dirt cheap. So this could really affect the revenues of the teams that are broadcasted by Bally Sports North, though, or by Bally Sports
well, no,
regional sports
this
networks.
because we don't know what's going to happen with the funds that are owed to these teams. I
Right.
mean, they're making decisions. Thank God we got Correa before they went
Right.
bankrupt.
Well, and our deal is up at the end of the year anyways, so I mean, it could end up in better hands, but I mean,
No, and it's gonna be complicated once Bally's officially done, and because shit, I think it's like half of Major League Baseball that was
14 teams,
covered.
I think. Yeah.
So if they're going to be if MLB is going to create its own thing, we're going to get a lot of
2 minute
pushback
warning.
from the Dodgers, the Yankees,
Yeah.
the big market teams that already have that
Giant
control
networks.
regions,
Yeah.
and they're making fucking
So
tons of
much money.
money. The
Yeah.
Yes Network, there's fucking Yankees fans all over the goddamn planet, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens to those then because set if if all 32 teams are going to come under one umbrella, you better believe that
Oh,
like
there'll
the
be revenue
Dodgers,
sharing. Yeah.
Yankees are going to be getting more of the revenue because they're drawing in more of the
But
viewers.
it might
And
not be as much as they get now. There might end up being revenue sharing in those deals, more revenue sharing with smaller market teams. Brad, you got
so
anything else on this?
I would say that you know MLB.com is already doing it. I
Yeah.
mean, when you subscribe to that, I don't know what percentage they're paying to the Yes Network or to whoever else owns their own stuff. I don't know what they're paying. I mean, like
I
I'm subscribed on DirecTV to MLB Extra Innings, which is a knockoff from the MLB.com.
MLB.TV.
Same difference. Sorry,
Yeah, no
sorry.
worries.
Um, I don't know where that goes,
It's
but I watch all the games. I mean, like I say, it's all going to go streaming at some point.
Might as well get ahead of it.
well, no, and
ESPN
that's
would be awesome, but that I don't know if ESPN could afford it, but then we're going to be paying $27 a month for ESPN Plus, and
Right.
which would it
no,
be
and
worth?
that's
Yes, but it's kind
We're
of
running
nice
out of
that
we're running out of time, folks, so I got to do my closing. Thanks for watching Foul Play by Play and listening to Foul Play by Play. Find us at foulplaybyplay.com. Love you, boys.
peace.
baseball starts.
Enjoy the big game.
Go Eagles.